Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm just going to be sharing some more of my own thoughts about where we are as a club. And as the title calls it, we are completely in free fall. What now? That's what I've asked. I want you guys out there to what now? What do we do now? When is Nagel actually going to do something about this instead of hoping the fans will calm down? We are going nowhere. Yeah. We've had enough of being let down season in, season out with false promises from this owner, and that's it. So we're going to be delving into a few different topics that I've got planned to discuss with you guys in today's video. But before we do get into all that, make sure you smash the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment your thoughts down below on the sorry state we are in. Let me know your thoughts. I've seen a lot of people posting on social media sharing their discontent with what's going on right now. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and I will respond to you guys. I appreciate your support. So yeah, let's get into it then. So for me, the first place to start is just how bad this season is once again becoming. And we're only at the end of October. Sitting ninth in the table is an embarrassment. Let's be honest. We've got one of the best teams in the league, but yet because we've got such an incompetent manager running this, on that touchline, who has no idea how to utilize these players correctly and has non-existent tactics. It's just awful. He has no idea what he's doing, and but I mean. It just feels like we're a laughing stock of the league at the moment, to be honest with you. That's how it feels to me. The persistent silence from this owner is continuing. We're on Tuesday already, and we've still not heard anything. Tuesday afternoon, nothing from this owner about the sorry state of affairs we were under now. And no action. We just want action, to be fair. We don't want words. We just want to see the action. And we all know what that action involves. But yeah, I mean, when does he plan to actually address the issues we're having? We're just going to keep coasting along, expecting things to magically change. Is that what we're doing? Because that's what it looks like. The persistent of manager. Why are we persisting with a manager who is regressing as quickly? Again, I'll answer that in this section here. But look, for me, it turns sour very, very quickly, hasn't it? Let's not sugarcoat it. I think for me, I was starting to really lose faith in Grant with that away record that we suffered in mid-August, and it carried on into September, where we lost 3 games consecutively on the road, seeing 3 goals each in every one of them. Grant simply had no answers. We didn't learn in any of them. Just kept doing the same thing over and over again. So that's when I was starting to kind of question what about this manager. We were still winning at home and amongst that though, but many performances that weren't very convincing, and we were kind of lucky in quite a few of those games. The Stevenage game was quite tight, wasn't it? And then the Peterborough game, 3-2, was another tight game as well. Bearing in mind, Stevenage came here and they're flying out at the top as well, but Peterborough, we're coming into that game and they're still down there at the bottom. In very, very poor form, conceding goal left, right, and centre. I know we scored 3, but they could barely score either before they came to our place, and they managed to score 2 in one game, which sums it up, really, doesn't it? And now we're at a point where the home form has fell off as well. Now, obviously, that draw against Burton, absolutely, that felt like a loss. To be fair, we should have won it. And then we've lost back-to-back games at home against Stockport and Bolton. And with the Wycombe game on Saturday, we've now lost 3 on the bounce. It's just simply unacceptable what we've seen out there. Even worse, nothing is being done about it by the owner. Tuesday afternoon, at the time recording, like I said, and still nothing from Nagel regarding anything. The silence is well and truly deafening. Decisions need to be made, and they need to be made now. That's it. It makes zero sense to keep a manager in charge who looks completely out of his depth, with no signs of improvement. We're regressing at a rapid rate, and unfortunately, that's where we are. And Grant has lost the fans completely now, in my opinion. The players, he's lost the dressing room, in my opinion, as well. And the owner is still continuing to persist with him, despite it clearly not working. So it just doesn't make any sense. And like I said, we're still waiting for that corner flag announcement post, and we aren't going anywhere until it happens. On the 24th of October, Nagel actually came out and said that Grant is our man. Well, I'm sorry, you're the only person that is coming out and publicly backing him now, and unfortunately, only you can see that now. Nobody else can, and I think that is a clear example of why Nagel needs to step back from football decisions and allow somebody else to make those decisions, because the reality is it's been a shambles, on the field with the decision making. Absolutely terrible. And that is where we are. That's why we are where we are. Let's not let, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just can't believe it. Only 4 days ago now, he's come out and backed him. And I think the only reason he's done that is because he's put so much money behind, he's allowed him to build a squad, and now it's all crumbling. He wants to just kind of live in this, he's just living in fake reality. He knows that it's not working, but he doesn't want to actually say it or actually admit it, that he's once again made another bad decision. So yeah, but yeah, it's just not acceptable. Everybody else can see this isn't going to work anymore, and it kind of falls onto the next topic, which is Grant's time is well and truly up, and majority of people can see that now. I think a lot of questions have to be asked about the managerial appointment in the first place, to allow a completely new manager who had never been in this role before and to back him as much as Nagel did. I'm afraid it looks very, very foolish now, doesn't it? To have given this guy money to spend, when ultimately it was always going to be too big of a job for him, wasn't it? Somebody that's so inexperienced, and it was like an appointment where we were hoping it was going to do, the board were hoping it would do well. But any manager that comes in is a big gamble. It is a gamble. But this was an even bigger gamble, because he hadn't ever been in a role like this before. And yeah, it's well and truly, we're already only a couple of months into the season, and we're already saying it. So pretty much shows that it was another bad decision. But no, he won't admit it. He won't admit it. But yeah, look, what we're seeing in front of our eyes right now, awful football, isn't it? Absolutely terrible football, this. Just no idea what... the players look lost out there. I think because he overcomplicates it so much, the players aren't even aware of what he's wanting. So... And plus, I think the players have checked out as well, to be honest with you. Clearly showing he's completely out of his depth as well, this manager. Zero. We've got no identity on the field still. And we've played a good, we've played 14 games, still no identity. Well, how is that acceptable? Apparently it's acceptable to this owner. Tactics non-existent. I don't know what he's trying to do. All he knows is what he's learned in his coaching badges manual that he's got when he did his coaching badges. That's all he knows. Tactics, absolutely woeful. can't barely recognise what he's trying to do at times, or what he's trying to ask these players to do either, and the players look lost. I mean, we've said before, poor team selections, baffling, to be honest with you. Playing players out of position as well. Why? It just doesn't make any sense. Play players in their best position to get the best out of them. That is just common sense. Shocking in-game management, substitutions, everything. Not quick enough to make those decisions as well either. Just utter shambolic. Refuse to change it when the game isn't going in our favour as well. That's what you're paid to do, unfortunately. When games aren't going your way, you have to think on the spot and change it. Don't just keep waiting. You can't make a decision. You can't make a decision during the match, it seems. And even then, when we get in at half time, there's no reaction from these players afterwards. So doesn't that say a thing about what this so-called manager is? There's no reaction from these players to this manager's overcomplicated nonsense instructions that he's giving them. That just sums it up. So yeah, look, Grant's time is definitely up. Everybody can see it. The owner's choosing not to see it. And we're just continuously wasting more and more time when there's no signs of improvement, no signs of lessons being learned, no nothing, no hope with this guy in charge. And that's the reality of it all. Players, for me, next topic, I think the players as well. The players' mentality still looks so weak. We talked about it many times last season, didn't we, about this mentality issue that we've got. And, and you could probably go back further, but I'm just talking about recently. Last season, I remember going about it so many times. And I think it's come quite apparent to me quite quickly that this is still a massive problem in this squad. The inability to react to conceding a goal. Once we concede, just completely capitulate, give up, like we saw just recently against Wickham as well. Prime example, concede a goal, that's it, game over. And we just give in. Cannot afford to. We need players with a strong mentality. And unfortunately, sometimes you are going to concede goals, but it's how you react. And these players don't react well to conceding goals. It's just not acceptable at all. And if you look at the squad as a whole, I think it is pretty pathetic what we've got right now. First sign of a setback, and they just throw the towel in. And the more and more time goes on, I don't know whether it's very hard. I think the manager has to take some blame in how bad the players are looking, but I also think these players have to take responsibility. And I think quite a lot of these players are stealing a living. Let me tell you, we've signed a load more players that are stealing a living. I think from the players we signed, I thought, would have changed this, but it seems to say apart from 4 or 5 players who we brought in, one of them alone, I think, we all know we all know the players that we can see are doing very well, but the others around them are letting them down. Likes of Lowe, Feeney, Miller when he's fit, Gooch. Although Miller's not a new player, is he? So that's irrelevant. Although it feels like a new player when he keeps coming in and out of the side so many times. Gooch. So we've got Lowe, Feeney, Gooch, Castledine, but 2 of these are loans. So what does that suggest? 4 or 5 players for me, and the rest we've signed seems to, quite a few of them are on the treatment table already as well. So yeah, it's just a shambles. I just think for me, we still have players from the previous seasons still lingering around, stinking the place out and hiding in matches. Prime example, Ben Wiles, ladies and gentlemen. The more I think about it, he has to be one of the most gutless and spineless players I've ever watched in a Town shirt, and that's being brutally honest right now. The stat merchant, because he scores a goal every now and then, everything else is all fine. No, 95% of the time, this guy goes completely missing and hides. And just because he scores a few goals now and again and gets assists, that's all well and good. That is all well and good. But when he's been here a number of years now, and 95% of the time he goes missing and hasn't done and does nothing in matches, that's not acceptable. in my book. And somehow this guy has managed to survive countless managers, by the way, as well. Crazy. Should be nowhere near that first team at all. So yeah, look, the player mentality issue has to be sorted. We have to get to the bottom of it because it's been a problem for ages. But I just think maybe this manager is ingrained some of this losing mentality in the new players, that have come in. I don't know. I think it's a mix of both. This manager is completely incompetent, and these players have a weaker mentality than I thought they did. That's what I will say. In terms of the new guys. But yeah, look, again, next topic for me then, injury problems. They continue to mount up, don't they? Why? What's happening? This has been a problem that has been ongoing for seasons now, and nothing is changing. Like everything else in the club, to be honest, in terms of on the field matters, nothing's changing. This is no different. Kasumu and Castledine, the latest casualties to add to a long list. We know Kasumu's injury prone, guys. I get that. Always misses a chunk of games every single season. Castledine, though, again, another new player getting injured. Add to the list of the, Alves and Redmond. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? It's absolutely ridiculous. So the medical department, again, underperforming. Something's not quite right because, again, injuries are continuing to happen far too often. That's how I see it. But look, for me at the moment, and as I've already alluded to, the club feels rotten from top to bottom on the field. It has been a disaster. Absolute disaster. As fans, once again, we feel let down. Already we feel let down. And everything is so toxic, and the apathy is setting again within the fan base as well. We've just had enough. We've had 2.5 years of this ownership now, and nothing's improved on the field. And we've had enough. We had to start the season, we hit the ground running and continue that form. And unfortunately, because we've hit a big lull quite quickly into the season, fans have had enough, because we are very impatient, and we've got every right to be impatient right now. Because the reality is, we haven't got much patience because of what we've seen for the past 2.5 years of false promises every single year from this ownership, and we've got nothing to show for it. So yeah, it's not impatience. We've just not got much patience anymore because continuously being let down by this club hierarchy. So yeah, I think as to what next and what now, well, we all know out there what needs to happen next, in terms of, i.e., football people need to be brought into the club to make football decisions, getting rid of Grant and bringing a new manager with experience now, just not ASAP now. A Tony Mowbray, for me, type figure will do me just nicely, in my opinion, full of experience. But unfortunately, the reality of it is this owner thinks his way is the right way, despite what has happened in the past couple of years since he's been here. We're actually on to 6 managers under this owner, and not one of them has worked. And sooner rather than later, it's not about if Grant gets sacked. When he gets sacked, we're going to be on to our 7th permanent manager in 2.5 years. That says all you need to know about the football decisions at this football club. Wrong managerial choices, shocking recruitment for far too long, and this is where we are. Surprise, surprise. Sitting in 9th in the table. No way, we're going to be cut adrift of the playoffs if we're not careful very soon. If we don't pull our act together. And if this manager continues, I said it before, we are going to keep losing matches. I don't see where our next we are not going to get another point under this manager. I don't see where our next point is coming from under this manager. So, yeah, changes need to be made, and I won't shut up about it until it happens. You know, we need action now. Otherwise, like I said, the slide will continue. We'll get more and more cut adrift of the playoffs positions, and yeah, if that's what this owner's planning to accomplish, then crack on. But don't accept most of this fan base to accept what we're seeing on the field, because we're not going to accept it. We're going to keep shouting. We're going to keep raising our concerns, and we ain't going anywhere. So you can forget about the radio silences. We need action, and we need a club announcement very soon. And I think that's really all I've got to say in this video. What we all know what needs to happen next. I've kind of gone through a few kind of things that I see fit in this video that I've done today. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Well, it's not really much to enjoy at the moment, is there really? But hopefully you guys can see what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I just completely and utterly frustrated. And it's just a sorry, sad state of affairs that that this club is under. We're in a complete mess. Freefall, that's where we are. And if we did have a competent owner who did make good football decisions, if he can't do that, he should have brought somebody in, like I've already alluded to earlier. But he isn't doing. So because we haven't got an owner that is going to do the right thing at this point in time, which is getting rid of this manager, then yeah, he's not good. He's just going to he's going to keep getting more toxic and more toxic. So the already toxicity set in. It's going to get more toxic, and until this owner makes a decision, and does the right decision, makes the right decision. Anyway, guys, make sure you do smash the like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What you make of all this at the moment, just a complete shambles. We're all kind of feeling the same thing at the moment, aren't we? I get that, but it'd be good to hear kind of your thoughts and everything. But look, what are we going to hear anything from this owner this week? I know he's believe he's still over here until tomorrow. He's at the Altogether Town meeting tonight, which is where they raise issues on certain aspects of the club, by the way, if anybody doesn't know. So yes, we need drastic change. We need them fast. And that's all I've got to say, really. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. And as always, Grant out.